Rally is a lot of adrenaline, it's a lot of fun, and you know, even for me at any level that you're on, it takes a lot of concentration, and there's so much to learn. It's not what happens to you, it's how you react to what happens, and that's a big thing in rally, because you might have a flat tire on the first stage, you might think you're out of the rally, but every second counts, every millisecond counts. And that fight that my dad taught me from being a Marine, never give up, never quit. So I don't care, you finish the race, it doesn't matter. And that has got me so far in life.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Here with Travis Pastrana, talking rally, man. Thanks for being in here.
Are you kidding me? Thanks for coming. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a really amazing experience. We've only been here like 3 days. I literally feel like we've been here for a couple months.
It wears you out. It's pretty cool. Like rally, it's a lot of adrenaline. It's a lot of fun, and even for me at any level that you're on, it takes a lot of concentration, and there's so much to learn. I mean, you know how to drive. Like every American redneck is like, I am the best driver in the world. I know you want to be up here, and your driving could be there, but the note system was so good, having Rhianon and everybody, and man, you listen and you learn so quick.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I came into this with an open mind. Like in my military career as a 17-year-old, kind of evolving through a special operations career, I don't want to ever be perceived or be that guy who's like uses his ego to kind of shut down the learning process. And when I come into this, I know who the experts are. That's why I think I've kind of migrated my life to find you, and we're sitting right here because that's the right tactic, right? If you want to be the best at something, find the tribe of mentors who are the best at that thing and start talking to them and have a conversation.
Yeah, but always understand that you want to be better.
Yeah.
And that was the coolest thing when we first started talking. You said, I was like, hey, how you doing? You're like, all right. I'm like, where do you want to go? He said, I want to be better than you. I was like, awesome. Because that's the mentality. If you're trying to get as good as whoever's out there, you're going to be passed. Everyone's going to keep going. If you're not constantly looking for a better way to do everything, you're never going to be on top. And if you're on top, you're not going to stay there for very long.
Yes.
The coolest part about motorsport right now, or sport in general, is that every single driver, every athlete is a student of the sport. And we'll take information from anybody. We'll try anything, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be the best at every part of rally. And rally is probably more so than any other sport, because you're going to have snow, you're going to have rain, you're going to have dry hard patch, you're going to have dust. And there's always something you can take from every single situation.
How did you get into rallying?
I started rallying because I absolutely loved driving my go-kart. I got a go-kart when I was 2 years old. I rolled it. My dad put a roll cage on it. It was literally just a 5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton on a hand custom made little chassis. And my family had a construction company, so it was real small construction, just my uncles. Always wanted to be like my uncles, like my dad. They were always riding everything. One of my uncles was a drag racer, and we always just did laps around the shop. So I was like, love sliding things, love rear-wheel drive. Got in a Subaru when I was 16 and said, you know what? I like all-wheel drive. You can be 10 times more aggressive. I like rally. I like not being perfect every time. And I feel like my skill set in motorcycles really helps me to be aggressive and to take risk. And that doesn't really apply to a NASCAR or an F1. You got to be perfect. You got to be the same every time. In rally, your notes they got to be good, but you're going to come over a crest in the snow at 120 miles an hour, full lock drift when your lights are pointing this way and it's completely black blind that way, and you got a 100-foot cliff on the outside with big old trees. And you got to have the confidence in your co-driver and your driving that you can do it. And you can make time in rally by just trusting that if these were all cones and not trees, how fast could I go? And you got to do it. That's going to be right up your alley.
Yeah, I love that. When I see your experiences, because I used to follow you in motocross. I grew up doing motocross, and I see your experiences and kind of your evolution, and that became less popular at some point. It was weird. Like extreme sports kind of surpassed the actual motocross. And I grew up with Carmichael and all these great motocross racers, and then it kind of transitioned. Was that part of your transition or your evolution, or was it something that you were like, I'm done with this and I'm going to move on to something else?
I was really fortunate. My uncle was quarterback for Denver Broncos, maybe the best athlete that came out of definitely our hometown and maybe the state. And my dad said, look, he's still working construction with us. in the summers, and he works as a health and football and lacrosse coach for at a community college. He's like, look, you're never going to make a living doing what you love, but any day that you love what you do, ride that train till the wheels fall off, and surround yourself with people you enjoy being around. Follow your heart. If you want to be somewhere, associate yourself with the people that are doing the best in that sport. And I've been very fortunate to be able to follow my dream and follow my passion. And when I woke up with so many injuries with racing dirt bikes, I said, you know what? I would just want to go ride because I love riding. And I started doing freestyle. And then after freestyle, I put all my money that I made, and I said, you know what? I want to see if I can make it driving cars. Because at that point, you know, I'm 19, 20 years old, and I had made a good living, but it was kind of like house money. Man, I was making a living at a hobby. You know, I knew, I was like, man, I'm going to work construction with my dad till I die. But, you know, any time that I can do what I love, like, I'm not going to go out there and risk my life for something that I'm just trying to get a paycheck or trying to get a trophy or trying to win. Like, yeah, winning's nice, but, like, if I'm not all in, I'm not going to beat those passionate guys anyway. Because to win in sport, it has to be 24/7, 365. And if you're not in all the way, it doesn't matter how much money, you're never going to get there.
I love that. With winning in mind, how do you balance becoming the best, staying at the top, and also a life with your family?
No, that's, you know, whenever I get a broken bone, or we call it getting a break, and I get to go home and spend more time. So, I mean, you know, right now I broke my back in January and some stuff, and, you know, I got some really good quality family time. But what's cool, and I'd imagine it's similar to military. I'm not on the road nearly as much. You guys gone for, I mean, like a year or whatever at a time on deployments. But when I'm home with my family, I'm home. You know, racing motocross was a little different because you had to be in great shape. So it would be very difficult for me to still be at the top of motocross and to be a husband and to be a father. But with rally, yeah, I'll get up before the kids get up. If I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning, I can get an hour of exercise in before you know, before my kids get up. I can make them breakfast. They're off to school. You know, I pick them up from school. We go to the wind tunnel, or we go to the motorcycle track, or we go to the BMX track, or whatever they want to do. And I can be a cheer dad at the same time. So the coolest part about where I am right now is that, yeah, I'm gone almost every weekend. I'm gone, but during the weeks, I'm 100% present, and that's really something that even my friends that are, you know, home all the time, that have normal jobs, they can't do. They, you know, they're up before their kids go to school, and they're working sometimes all the way through. So it's a tough balance, and a lot of times we get it wrong, and I'm on the road too much, and you know, you can see that. You can come home and, you know, your wife has everything dialed in, and you're almost a burden. Yeah. You know, you come back and she's like, no, just let me do it because I've got this system. And when that happens, that makes me sad. Yeah. You know, especially as a husband. I mean, the kids are always, I still have young kids, so yeah, they're like, all right, let's go play. Yeah.
In your professional career, do you have any, like, if you had to define a regret or something that, I know a lot of people say, I have no regrets, or, you know, I moved past that. But does anything stand out to you in your professional career that you wish you would have done differently?
You know, hindsight's 20/20. If I would have realized I didn't have to win every single race, that, hey, second, third, fifth, whatever your best is on the day, if you're sick, if you're tired, if you're hurt, you know, that's good enough. You can't take more than what you have on those conditions. And it would have been amazing to win a Supercross championship in the main class. But at the end of the day, if I would have continued racing Supercross and I would have won everything that I wanted to win, I would have never found rally. I would have never started Nitro Circus. I would have never been able to travel the world with my best friends and my family. And I would have never been here with this amazing opportunity to be, I mean, learning how to shoot pistols with you and hanging out and flying helicopters. And I mean, I feel like every time life has thrown a curveball or I've done something that wasn't ideal, you learn from those mistakes. And every mistake, if you can continue learning and stay positive, I mean, that sounds so cliche, but at the end of the day, it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to what happens. And that's a big thing in rally, because you might have a flat tire on the first stage. You might think you're out of the rally, but every second counts, every millisecond counts. And that fight that my dad taught me from, you know, being a Marine, you know, never give up, never quit. So I don't care, you finish the race, it doesn't matter. And that has got me so far in life.
I love that, man. There's a lot of correlations there for moving past a whole bunch of things just to have a better life and moving forward. Last question. Tell me about a passion that nobody knows about that you have that you potentially don't, maybe not like to share with the rest of the world. Is there something that that's your kind of thing? Like photography is my thing, right?
Nice.
I'm Asian, so it's ingrained in me. I like to take pictures, but I also owned a photography business, did professional photography for a period of my life. It was actually my first job because I grew up in a family business of photographers. But I'll never make it about business because business strips some of those things away. Some of that passion becomes work, and you start to lose a little bit. Is there anything in your life that you're very passionate about that you don't like to share out or put it out?
Most of my passions, my wife always laughs. She's like, you're a 38-year-old man-child, and you love to play, and you work hard at it.
Yeah.
But you just, everything that, I know, she always says, I know less about more than anyone on earth. And that basically means that the things that I'm passionate about, I know everything about. And the rest of the world it just doesn't bother me. And I don't know a lot about a lot. But I think the only passion that I have that no one really knows about is I probably own my about 8th script for just movies. I love movies. And
writing scripts?
Yeah, writing scripts. And I mean,
wow.
I was actually, like literature was my minor.
So creative writing or analytical writing for movies.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, at the time, I read a lot of scripts. I write a lot of scripts on a lot of different things. Actually, about once every 2 or 3 years, get together with a couple screenwriters, and they help me with the scripts, and we just kind of polish them up. It'll probably never go anywhere. It might even never make anything or see the screen in anywhere. But for me, I just enjoy that outlet of kind of creative writing and kind of, like those what ifs in your life that you can kind of go back on.
What, is there a genre you focus on script-wise that's kind of a passion? Is it westerns? Is it space? Is there a little bit? Is it love movies? Like, what is it?
No, well, I mean, every movie has to have a little bit of love in it, I guess.
Rom-coms. I'm thinking it's a rom-com.
No, it's not really comedy. It's more passion stuff. It's just when you're, like, my whole life has been passion, and it's always been racing. So, like I said, I don't know a lot about everything else, but I know a lot about racing, and there's been no real great racing movies that have, everyone portrays like a good guy and a bad guy, and I just always thought it'd be cool to have a really good script that was about like a race team. You always go for the underdog story or whatnot, but something where, there wasn't really a bad guy, and you have these guys painted as these things in the beginning of the movie, but by the end of the movie, you realize that just how they portray themselves or how they act, they're all the same.
Yeah.
We're all assholes. Some people are just good about talking to people, and some people, but we'll all knock anyone out of the way. We'll knock our grandma out of the way in the last corner if it means winning the race.
Yeah. Man, I love that. That sounds like a Black Rebel Coffee Fieldcraft Survival production that needs to be funded.
There you go.
That would be awesome. I think that's in the talks. I talked to Evan a little bit about that, but that would be amazing. And I know some guys in the crew, even JT, has a super profound passion about that. He
loves films, and that's honestly not a big reason, but a reason to come this way. I mean, my daughter, she's 8 years old, and it's so my 8-year-old is cheer. That's all she lives and breathes cheer. But it's really funny because she loves movies, and she loves movies like I like movies. Mm-hmm. And she'll be breaking it down, and she on book on tape, she couldn't read yet at 6, and she listened to the entire Save the Cat.
Really?
And she loved just the nuances of movies. So it's kind of that one thing that I can actually really get engaged with when we're watching movies. She's young, but it's funny how much she picks up on.
That's so
way more than my wife would ever. Yeah.
What's your favorite movie of all time?
You see, that's almost impossible to answer. But I like Warrior. Have you ever seen? So it's MMA based.
Yeah.
It's actually.
It's not a super high budget film,
no,
right?
No. It's just really. The characters resonated with me.
Interesting.
So yeah.
That Warrior.
Yeah.
That's a recent film. Not recent, but it's
I mean, dude, like, so Street Bike Tommy, also movie connoisseur. I mean, he sits on the couch a lot more than I do, but
yeah.
Like, so movies were always what I could kind of get away from, and I'd, get on the spin bike, and you do an hour on the spin bike every day or whatnot, and you just throw a movie in, and you just kind of get lost in the movie, and just for base training.
Yeah.
And that was every single day of my life until, when I can.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that, because I know that's.
Yeah, sorry, that was really random. I apologize.
Yeah, no, I think it's fascinating. We're in a script right now doing a show for Black Rifle Coffee that Travis personally wanted to invest back into the team, which, you know, he's not going to say that out loud, or he's not looking for accolades, but I think it's super, I don't know, it's being somebody who didn't know you prior and had a perception of you and as always being a nice guy. Everybody says you're a nice guy. Talks a lot better about you than most in this space, but coming in here and then seeing you bring together a team, it's an amazing experience, and I'm looking forward to this show. And sum up, what is this show about? What are we doing here?
Well, for me, like when I was a kid, I always looked to World Rally, and I always Colin McRae and all these heroes. But most of the top Americans, they go into NASCAR, they go into IndyCar, and the sport's so cool. It's so, I don't want to change the core of the sport, because rally is so awesome, because your first rally, you're rallying with Ken Block and Barry McKenna and the best rally drivers, you know, in North America, and you're on the same roads and the same stages. But just to have you come in, I mean, yeah, you have a lot of background, you're a great driver, but you're still learning rally. And then we'll have, you know, drivers that are even have less knowledge coming in, and then we have guys like Texas Dave, who, you know, his passion his whole life has been to race cars, but the amount of money that it costs, he's like, look, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to teach, because that means I get to drive every single day. But he's getting an opportunity to go for the national championship this year. So he basically, and then Bucky Lasek, who just, he loves talking cars. I mean, we were just at a Subaru dealership this morning.
So great.
He gets on someone's skateboard and he's trying tricks, and he just loves people. And we get this whole group together and we show what rallying is all about. And if we can help build this sport from the grassroots all the way to the top, and show people how much fun it is that you can get involved for such a low amount of money. I mean, considering most, you know, for most motorsports, I just hope to bring people together and bring more people out to the woods and have some fun.
It's gonna be amazing, man. I can't wait for that release. It's a organic, non-GMO grassroots motorsport rally. Fascinated by it. I want to say thank you personally for taking the time, but also mentoring me through this journey. I feel like I've lived many phases of my life, and this is the phase that I'm most excited about, because it involves my family, it involves good friends, it involves you guys, and it's a huge opportunity for me.
Well, I couldn't be more excited to be working with this crew, and that's like, you know, everybody, and I've been very, very blessed, very fortunate to be surrounded by such an awesome crew. But all the film guys, you know, all the rally guys, and I didn't know Dave that much, but you know, everyone, JT and all the guys are like, dude, this guy needs an opportunity. And then, you know, having you, I've never seen anyone that's in your position that's done so much, that listens and really takes in information from anyone. Like, hey, let's try it. And that's what it's going to take, because in rallying, you're never going to have the perfect car setup. You're never going to have the perfect line. You're going to make mistakes. It's the best of the worst.
Yeah.
And you got to go through it. Sometimes it'll be dry in the first half of the stage, and you'll hit a snowstorm or a fog area, or, you know, it changes like that.
I love that, man. That's my favorite thing about the sport, is the trying to be controlled in chaos. It seems like it's chaos, but if you can control it, it's an amazing experience. Guys, Travis Pastrana, thank you so much, man.
Hey, thanks for the time.
Check the links below, everything that we're doing with Black Rifle and all the things that we have going on below. Hit notification tab and subscribe. Until next time, peace out, guys.